Hey, good morning. Fancy and I, where's Fancy? Fancy's right there. Yeah, at least her butt was. Well, Fancy and I are out on a morning walk. And I gotta tell you, I enjoy doing the morning walks more than I enjoy the evening walks because I feel more refreshed, my head is clear, and it's easier to think in the crisp morning air than it is after a long day at work, working around the property, and just being ready to call it quits for the day, right? So anyway, as you can tell by the title of the video, I do not think that we are a serious country. And something happened recently that some of you may have not heard of that just drove that point home. But before we go on, here's what I want you to do. I want you to pause the video. I want you to go down in the comments and give me an example of why you think we are not a serious country. Then come back and listen to what I'm going to say. And if you're not a subscriber and you enjoy this type of content, go ahead and think about subscribing and joining us on this journey towards a life done free. Okay, so you've gone down in the comments. You've given me your predictions as to why we're not a serious country, or your commentary. And now I'm going to tell you why we are not a serious country and what the real world repercussions of this are. Okay, so if you missed it, there was an incident late last year, early this year, where a Master Chief and Master Chief is one of the senior enlisted. It's an E8 in the U.S. Navy. So a Master Chief on the littoral combat ship, the USS Manchester, decided that she needed to be able, and this is from what's being reported. This is not me making stuff up. That she needed to be able to watch her telenovas. So she got a subscription to Starlink and installed a Starlink satellite dish on an advanced U.S. Navy ship. Now, some of you may be thinking, oh, what's the big deal? Well, the big deal is it basically acts like a beacon in the signal intelligence world that will allow the enemy to know exactly where this ship is. And if you don't know what the LCSs are, it's a special class of ship, and they're made to be stealthy. Well, as stealthy as you can make a great big 3 or 4 story long building, as stealthy as you can make that. But still, it's harder for the enemy to find it. So this lady puts this Starlink up there, shares it with other people, by all accounts, shares it with other chiefs in the chief's mess so that they can get internet access too. Now, when they're found out, she lies about it and she obfuscates, and she makes it harder for the commander of the ship to get to the bottom of it all. So they ended up court-martialing her, and even though she put every single person on this ship's lives at risk should they have gone into combat, and had she just completely disregarded OPSEC as a senior leader on this boat, all they did was they reduced her 1 rank, reduced her down to an E7. And from what I can tell, nobody else involved in this incident had anything happen to them. This is why we are not a serious country. Because if in a serious country that's by the accounts of the people that are in charge is on the brink of actually going to war, this is not how you deal with this type of disciplinary failure. And that's what it was. It was a lack of discipline. This lady decided that her wants were above the best interests of the ship and its crew. And this is going to probably upset some people. I'm going to say this. She put $1 billion ship, and that's a rough number. I don't know exactly what it cost, but she put $1 billion piece of equipment at risk Had they gone into combat and that Starlink was on there, the enemy would have known exactly where that ship was, and they could have very easily destroyed it. Well, knowing is half the battle, basically. And she decided her wants were above that ship. And quite frankly, that ship is more valuable than every single person on that ship. And I know that sounds cold-hearted, but from a military standpoint, accomplishing the mission and protecting your assets is top priority. You can't accomplish your mission if the ship's at the bottom of the ocean. Doesn't matter who you got on it. Now, why was she not punished? Well, I'm going to tell you why she wasn't punished. And this is me. Okay, hold on a second. You're going to get some sunlight. Sorry about that. She wasn't punished because she was a female. Or she wasn't, let me rephrase that. She was not punished accordingly because she was a female, a high-ranking female. And it does not do the narrative any good to bring light to the fact that you've got people in senior leadership that got there because of their gender. And I'm going to say it because I'm going to say it that way because the decision that she made shows a true lack of professionalism and immaturity and wanton disregard for the needs of the military and the needs of the country. Okay, so I have to at this point make the conclusion that she was put there because she's a female. She is a DEI hire. She was promoted so that the U.S. Navy could check boxes. And we don't want anything to come in the way of that progressive narrative. So we cannot we can't say anything or do anything that puts that in jeopardy. Doesn't matter what the person does. And this is why we're not a serious country. We're on the brink of economic failure. We are on the brink of war. And a large portion of the population sees nothing wrong with the way things are being run. And the leadership of the country has decided that progressive narratives are more important than your well-being and my well-being. So we're not serious. We're not a serious country, and we're going to pay the price. When the time comes, you and I and every other person in this country are going to pay the price. Now, from where I'm standing, some of these people deserve to pay the price. And anybody that votes for the financial destruction of our country by voting for certain individuals and votes for the moral decay of our country by supporting politicians that promote this stuff, they're gonna get everything they deserve. Unfortunately, there's gonna be people that disagree with it all. They're gonna pay the price too. But that's part of being part of society. All right, part of being a human being. So we just got to deal with it. All right. So go ahead and stop the video now. And if you picked Starlink on a USS Navy ship on your bingo card as to why we're not a serious country, go ahead and make another comment down below. Do a haha, I knew it type of post. All right. So these repercussions are going to happen because even if Donald J. Trump gets elected into the presidency, which I'm still not sold on the fact that he will be allowed to become president even if he wins the vote. Or I'm sorry, if he wins the vote, I'm not sure he's going to be allowed to be president. But that's for another video. At best, even if he gets into the presidency, all he's doing is buying us time. All right, he's giving us time and space to prepare for what's coming. How do we prepare? Guys, say it with me. The 3 pillars of homesteading. We build community. That's what you guys are doing here on this video. But you need to go out and be doing it in your neighborhood, in your town, in your county. You need to go out and start building relationships with these people so that when the time comes, you've got a support network there to help you. Now, even if you don't like talking with people, you're an introvert, or you think, I can't do that. You have to. You have to do this. You have to get outside your comfort circle, and you have to go do this. Next thing, food independence. You know, aside from just being able to have control over what you put in your body, I mean, that right there is enough for the price of admission on food independence. But even at that, food is a weapon, and if you disagree with that, or you think I'm just being over the top and you know, crying wolf and stuff, go ask about 4 million Ukrainians from the 1930s. Oh, you can't, because Stalin starved them out using food as a weapon. Or you can go ask all the Africans in Sudan and Ethiopia. Oh, you can't, because they starved to death because the government was using food as weapons. The list goes on, but you get what I'm saying. You know, and don't think that you're limited on space. You can do it. We have there's all kinds of people, we talk about it, and there's all kinds of videos where you can go learn how to do it yourself. Third thing, modern self-sufficiency. Well, you know, I can't talk about this one enough. If you can't do it yourself, then you're going to have to rely on somebody else. And if you haven't built community, you're going to have to rely on somebody else who does not have the best interest of the community, and therefore you, in mind. All they're going to care about is themselves and what the government says they can do and allows them to do. All right? So this is... Uh-oh. Fancy saw the neighbor's geese. Look at her. She's like, ooh, what are those? She's not quite sure. She likes them, though. Well, I'm afraid she wants to go herd them. Herd, H-E-R-D, not H-U-R-T. She wants to go herd them. And that would not end well. But so get that modern self-reliance. And if you find that there's stuff you can't do or you're not willing to do, like me, I don't do electrical. I can do very basics, and the rest of it just really is not something that I feel comfortable with, even with the knowledge I have. Oh, come on, Fance. Leave him alone. See, look at her. She's all about those geese. But so there it is. And then while we're preparing, we need to chip away at the power that they have over us right now before things get tough, so that when the time comes, they're not as powerful as they would. So how do we do that? We starve the beast. Now, this is easier said than done. And full disclosure, I do not do enough of it. I do not do it very well at times. But we're working on it. It's a work in progress. So that's it. You know, there's why we're not a serious country and what the real world repercussions are going to be. And if you are at this point in the video and you're not subscribed, go ahead and subscribe. You made it this far. Come join us. We talk about stuff like this all the time and a whole bunch of other stuff. Most importantly, guys, say it with me. Say it with me right now. Go out today and pursue a life done free. All right, take care, guys.
Thanks, Milo.